So today we're doing something that I should have done a while ago.
Accurate beats.
I'm replacing my DJ mixer and I'm switching from Traktor to Serato. I did this entire thing about this on Instagram a few weeks ago. The crossfader is not consistently working and I took it apart a couple of months ago to clean it and it got better, but now it's back to just not being consistently cutting the way I wanted to. I replaced it with another one, another mini innovator, and it kind of works, but there's something about the setup that just doesn't feel, I don't know, it's hard to say, but somehow it just doesn't feel solid and good enough to rely on. And I'm using this turntable for everything from sampling to scratching and everything in between, if there's anything in between. And this new DJ mixer showed up today in kind of a big box, so but you know, it's not that I've had a lot of issues with this setup up until recently when the fader kind of messed up on me, and replacing the fader with an even newer one could also be a solution, of course, but you know, this just feels like a good time to switch to Serato. I've never used Serato much and I got this one like 6 years ago actually. So today we're gonna take a look at the Traktor Kontrol Z2 mixer from Native Instruments. But even at that point, the Traktor Z2 mixer had been out for like 6 or 7 years before that, so you know, I just feel like it's time to upgrade for something that is a little bit newer. This one isn't new either, and it's definitely one of the budget options for someone like me with my needs, but I think it's gonna work. At least I really hope it's gonna work. I don't know if they needed to ship it in a box this big, but you know, it is what it is. There we are. The Numark Scratch. Yeah, I believe in this. I don't know if it's necessarily an upgrade from the C2 mixer or if it's actually kind of a downgrade because it doesn't have all the same functionality, but going from Traktor to Serato just feels like the right thing to do for some reason. And of course, it's not just the crossfader on this one that messes me up. There is this weird hum going on the output signal, and no matter how I try to go about stuff like grounding all the signals and whatever, I just can't get rid of it. Yeah, we are upgrading. That's gonna happen. Or downgrading, or yeah, making the switch. That's what we're doing. You know, it ticks all the boxes and this should be exactly what I need. Nothing more, nothing less. Documentation, whatever. Stickers. That's nice. Needs to go over here. Right there. That's nice. Numark sticker in the building. That's cool. Power cord. That is a tiny one. I love that. That's pretty nice. Compared to that needs to be thought about. Maybe not right now though. But yeah. C2 Numark Scratch. There's definitely this size difference in terms of the depth. But I mean, the turntable is bigger, so it doesn't really matter, but still kind of nice. It's also pretty lightweight compared to something like this. Maybe that's a bad thing. I'm not sure. The ins and outs over here looks just fine. So let's take that one out of there. Let's get it into here. Can't forget about the ground. Now, I don't know what to do with this one. It's not like unusable. That's not a problem for today, I think. That's not very good. That's better. So far, it works. Yeah. It feels really solid, it feels really good. It takes a little bit of time to get used to a new mixer and fader, even though it's pretty much the same. And the next step here would be something like, you know, hooking up the computer. So I think this is the better place for the turntable setup for me to easier get access to sampling from where I normally am, if that makes sense. We do need power on the actual turntable though. And nothing. Why? Yep. And I also just installed this motorized desk base. So let's see if this works. There we are. And it's been a couple of days now since the last shot you saw, and I've spent a little bit of time to just reorganize and clean this place up a bit. And I've also moved some furniture around again, because that's just who I am. But I'm really happy about the placement of the turntable and the new mixer over here. Nice and handy to my left-hand side. That's nice. And I also realized that the noise, the humming that I got from the Z2 didn't have anything to do with the mixer itself. It was actually the power outlet that wasn't giving me the best power, I guess. So this entire switch might seem a little bit unnecessary, but again, we're switching from Traktor to Serato, and that's what I'm really excited about, because the Numark Scratch comes with a full version of Serato DJ Pro. Which means that we're going to need some vinyl for that. This is the official Kontrol vinyl from Serato. It says that it's more than a piece of wax, because sure, it's a time-coded signal that works with DVS, but I would still say that the thing itself is pretty much just a piece of wax. And there's something classic and nice about the black vinyl for sure, but I also have this TB303 TR606 limited edition special vinyl from Roland together with Serato. And I was a little bit bummed out when I first received this one, because it's for Serato and I was using Traktor, because I didn't realize that one of the sides actually has audio on it and the other side is the control vinyl. But hey, the vinyl itself looks amazing, doesn't it? And this one has a bunch of different loops from the TR606, and remember, it's a collab between Roland and Serato, so it's pretty much official. Pretty cool stuff. Maybe not my genre of music per se, but that's the 606. Now let's go for the 303. So the idea here is basically to have some drums and some bass lines and play them together and mix and match and beat juggle and whatever you want to do. But to me, let's use this side right here, the control tone for Serato, which is everything I need. And turn to computer.
Keep it real.
And that's Serato.
Real.
Yeah, just like that. And the entire situation and the setup and the installation here is as easy as it comes, which is really cool and valuable and handy for someone who actually uses Serato with something like this outside of a home studio or something like that. Just run the entire mixer into the computer with a single USB connection, start Serato, and it just works. No calibration or anything like that needed. It's pretty much just a plug and play kind of situation. But one thing needs to be mentioned, and that is that the Numark Scratch seems to be a little bit specific and particular and picky about the USB connection that it gets from the computer. It's not that it needs USB 4 or anything like that, but something strange is going on. I'm running all these different hubs and USB dongles and stuff in here to get things working, and at least with one of them, it didn't work as expected, which took me at least like half an hour of frustration to realize that I could just try another USB port and I'm up and running again. And the funny thing is that I got the time-coded signal into Serato and I saw the entire thing running and it seemed to work, but I wasn't getting any audio output from the mixer itself. So I guess the digital signal kind of worked, but the audio signal didn't. Then I tried another one and it worked, but it's just worth mentioning that it could be a little bit picky like that. Or maybe it's just my unit, who knows. And as far as the mixer itself goes and the connectivity with Serato, You know, it's not a super high-end device and it doesn't have all the fancy stuff in the world, but it's good enough for someone like me, someone who scratches and samples in a home studio type of environment. 4 pads per track over here for switching between different cue points, samples or loop points, I guess. Rolls, like this.
What? Oh god. Oh.
Standard EQ settings, standard volume settings for the different inputs, because we also have a mic input on this one. But you know, it's pretty much a set and forget kind of thing in a situation like mine. There's also this filter that a lot of people are complaining about because it has a little bit of resonance to it. I'm not sure how much I'm going to use the filter myself because I have this kind of cool thing going on. Let's touch on that in a minute, but you know, it's there. And we also have access to some of the built-in effects in Serato over here. Let's switch it on like that. Let's hear the echo. Delay. Flanger. Reverb. V-echo. And phaser. And again, I'm not sure how much I'm going to use these built-in effects myself because they are pretty much just what they are. And I have this one running into the input of my Korg Chaos Replay, which gives me a ton of flexibility in terms of effects.
Oh god.
That's kind of cool.
Oh god.
Oh my god. Like this. Like this.
You know, I don't really care too much about what's considered to be real turntablism or whatever. I just want to make things that sounds cool. To me, this sounds pretty cool. I do need to practice a bit and to incorporate this into my stuff. Still, since I already have this crazy Korg Chaos Replay and I could use it like this, I want to, and I'm gonna try to do it effectively in the future. Is it necessary though? No, of course not, because the effects in Serato are accessible from the mixer itself, and they are more than good enough. More than good enough. I don't really have a lot of bad stuff to say about the Numark Scratch. Sure, it's not fully fledged out like some of the more expensive Pioneer options out there, and I was looking at the Pioneer DJ, the DJ MS5 from Pioneer. I was looking at that one too quite a bit because it's also one of the least expensive options out there, and at the end of the day, that one doesn't seem to have much more to offer than the Numark Scratch, even though it's a few years newer, and sure, Pioneer is always going to be Pioneer, but for someone like me with a home studio that does a little bit of scratching and a lot of sampling, this one seems to be the option, at least for me. So it's been about a week at this point, and I've used it quite a lot, and it seems just rock solid besides that little USB thingy that you need to figure out what USB port is the best one. And I also want to make it clear that I still have my Traktor Kontrol S4 controller for other use cases than here in the studio. So I'm still going to run Traktor every now and then for my like smaller DJ kind of things that I do sometimes. Not much these days, but still. So now at the end of it, you're realizing that this is not like a review video of this piece of gear. It's just me taking you guys along on the ride of transferring from Traktor to Serato, from Native Instruments C2 to Numark Scratch. And so far, it's rock solid. It feels a little bit better than the C2 and Traktor when it comes to scratching, but maybe that's just, you know, because it's all new and shiny and I'm excited about it. You fool yourself like that really simply, which is dangerous, but in this case, it still just feels like the right thing to do for me right now. Whatever. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one too. Until then, actually, I really hope you're going to be here for my next few videos because we have some really cool stuff coming out in terms of gear. That's all I'm going to say about that. Maybe that's even too much. Yeah, thanks again. Ha det gott.
Accurate beats.